Why are you talking to me like that?
Oh, you speak English.
Jim Gaffigan stars with Christine Baranski at Welcome to New York, coming this fall to CBS.
Family Law returns. CBS next Monday.
Tonight, a special edition of 48 Hours.
President Clinton has said America forgives him. But can he help Vice President Gore step out from the shadow and...
Take your hands off of me. Unless you intend to arrest me, don't push me, please.
Remember when conventions were about conflict, passion, and change?
It gets into the question of power, doesn't it?
It radicalized everybody is what happened. It certainly radicalized me.
And now...
There's no raw drama. If you strip the drama out of politics, you are castrating politics.
And...
It's George P. Bush!
I'm Corinna Gore.
the hottest faces of this campaign.
Sit down at the dinner table with us. Politics is not our obsession.
And they're not even on the ticket.
I have definitely not grown up feeling self-conscious about the political identity of my family.
Dan Rather reports live from Los Angeles. A special convention edition of 48 Hours.
Dial 102, please.
Good evening from the City of Angels, touched this week by the Democrats. It is opening night of the Democratic National Convention. And this is the week Vice President Al Gore will attempt to step out of the long shadow of President Bill Clinton and into the glare of a Hollywood-style spotlight. That spotlight will be shining one last time on President Clinton. This is Clinton night at the Gore Convention. In just 5 months, Mr. Clinton will retire after 2 terms as president. So his address here tonight, a combination farewell and symbolic passing of the party leadership to the man he hopes will follow him into the White House. Trailing in the polls, Al Gore needs a boost from Clinton night and from the convention this week. Like the Republicans in Philadelphia, this Democratic convention is a tightly scripted infomercial on behalf of the Gore-Lieberman ticket. Also in the script tonight, an address from First Lady and U.S. Senate candidate Hillary Clinton. You will hear from the President and the First Lady later on 48 Hours. Down there behind me at the podium is a veteran of 17 conventions and the leader of CBS's Face the Nation, Bob Schieffer. Bob, what can we expect tonight?
Well, Dan, the president will be president until next year, but this is really the last time he'll make an address as the leader of a Democratic Party. He's going to take a real shot at George Bush tonight, who accused him of squandering his time in office. He'll remind the Republicans that the good times did not happen by chance, but he says because of hard choices that he made and members of his administration made. He'll also give a ringing endorsement of Al Gore. He'll call him a loyal advisor who stood by him even in the tough times. As you say, this is a convention where Al Gore must step out as his own man. But first, Democrats will hear from the man who brought Al Gore here. It's Bill Clinton's night, and Bill Clinton will use this night to brag a little about his administration. Dan?
Bob Schieffer. 60 Minutes man Ed Bradley is down there on the floor. It's a big Clinton night at this convention. Ed, how do the delegates feel about that?
Well, Dan, these are his people. In 1985, as a founding member of the Democratic Leadership Council, Bill Clinton had a mission to move his party towards the center. You look at the delegates here, and that's exactly what he has done. They are more moderate than in past years, although their position on some issues is more liberal than most people in this country. In that sense, they're sort of like the president. They see themselves as centrists in spite of their position on things like affirmative action and the death penalty. And this is a bittersweet moment for him and for them. It's a farewell. He's a man who clearly loves his job and doesn't want to leave. They love him and don't want him to go. But they are here as Al Gore delegates. And tonight officially begins the passing of the baton. And Dan, it's for him and for them.
Ed Bradley. CBS News special correspondent Gloria Borger is with me here in the anchor booth. Well, Gloria, will it be as simple as passing the torch or baton?
I don't think so, Dan. Like lots of family relationships, this is very complicated. There's been some tension recently between the Gore camp and the Clinton camp, with the Gore advisors believing that the Clintons are spending a little bit too much time here in L.A. raising money. But they also understand that their man is behind in the polls and that he does have to emerge from the president's shadow. And I think tonight, Dan, the president is going to try and do that for him. He's going to say, you, the American public, if you don't know who Al Gore is, let me tell you who he is. And then when the applause dies down, he's going to do one more important thing, and that is he's going to walk off stage. And I was talking to one Gore advisor today who said to me, and I quote, "We hope he makes it clear that one guy is going east and the other guy is going west."
Gloria Borger. Well, as the Democrats are having their say inside this cavernous hall, demonstrators, including some self-described anarchists, are having their say outside, exercising their First Amendment rights with a so far peaceful and orderly protest. The crowd, about 8,000 to 9,000 strong, is also there for a concert by, among others, the radical rock group called Rage Against the Machine. Earlier today, police clashed with some demonstrators protesting a variety of issues elsewhere in Los Angeles. There were about 10 arrests. Back here inside the convention hall, you'll be hearing from the First Lady later in this half hour, followed by complete coverage of the President's address to this convention. Just ahead, whatever happened to the passion?
Take your hands off of me unless you plan to arrest me.
Of political conventions.
It radicalized everybody. It certainly radicalized me.
What we've got now, it's not about democracy. It's about marketing.
That's next.
We at GMC are proud to sponsor the U.S. Olympic athletes who, like us, have worked to achieve higher standards. And now, during our GMC U.S. Olympic Countdown, get up to $2,000 cash back on select 2000 Sierra Extended cabs, up to $2,000 cash back on a truck with the most standard V8 horsepower and best V8 fuel economy in its class. A truck built with the dedication that makes it professional grade. Because when you're committed to what you do, it shows in the results. Visit your local GMC dealer for the GMC U.S. Olympic Countdown.
So, how do you get that healthy glow? Choose the right makeup.
New Translucide from L'Oreal.
The Healthy Glow makeup.
New Translucide is enriched with healthy vitamin C.
And SPF 18.
So, imperfections blur, shadows dissolve, and we look healthy, luminous, flawless all day. It's the end of dull, flat makeup.
New Translucide from L'Oreal Paris. The Healthy Glow makeup with vitamin C and SPF 18.
Because you're worth it.
They say you've been leaving voicemails that sound unclear. Can you take off your sunglasses? Mr. Myers, have you been using cellular?
Now and then, you know, just when I'm out of the office.
Oh, come on, John. It's every day.
Here, try Sprint PCS. They built the only all-digital, all-PCS nationwide network. So your calls will be clear. Welcome back, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
E-squared from Energizer, a whole new battery with a heart of titanium that lets you take power to the next level.
E-squared.
Hey Carolyn, what do you think of your new Pledge Grab It?
Pretty nifty. Goes together easy. Pledge Grab It really does grab it and hold it. I've never had anything that's been under here. How embarrassing. I know a really good spot for this. I'm getting the spider webs that have never, ever, ever been picked up. See, I just vacuumed this, and I'm still picking stuff up. With 3 girls in the house, we have lots of hair. It grabs it, and it clings to this. Take it apart, toss it in the garbage when you're done.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
5 survivors, 2 shows left, and things are getting primal.
Whatever it takes to win here is the point.
The #1 show in America, All New Survivor, CBS Wednesday.
Seeing the rough and tumble side of American democracy isn't always pretty, but it can be pretty interesting. Conventions used to be a battleground. The candidates debated and otherwise clashed in public. But now the political producers of these events would rather not air any dirty laundry. Eric Ingberg looks back at a time when conventions were a lot less conventional.
It was great while it lasted.
Will the convention come to order?
For 20 years, the parties let us eavesdrop.
Minnesota cast its 28 votes for Eisenhower
On the making of a president.
We are seeing Senator Kennedy.
Buffalo Theater with news to boot. 1948 was the first TV convention.
I accept the nomination.
By 52, TV was invading previously hidden political inner sanctums.
This is television. This isn't radio.
It was television. Those little tiny sets. We realized that it was never going to be the same again.
In 52, Gore Vidal, a prolific chronicler of American political life, was still 7 years away from writing The Best Man, a play and later a movie about a campaign.
It's a wide open convention. Anybody can win.
By 56, Americans were spouting convention trivia over breakfast.
The ayes have it.
And everyone knew where the voting always starts.
Alabama.
The Democratic nominee that year, Adlai Stevenson, breaking tradition, let the convention pick his running mate.
The selection of the vice presidential nominee should be made through the free processes of this convention.
Chicago in 1968 was a turning point. Too much reality TV for the party bosses. The passions unleashed by the Vietnam War in a year that had seen the murders of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King, and cities on fire swept over the Democratic convention. Force was the boss's response. On the streets,
Dan Rather,
and in the hall.
But don't push me. Take your hands off of me.
It radicalized everybody is what happened. It certainly radicalized me.
In 68, actress Shirley MacLaine, a war opponent, was a California delegate.
It's just devastating.
It was devastating to watch those pictures. We were there doing participatory democracy while fascism was happening on the streets of Chicago.
After 68, nothing would ever be the same. The bosses lost the power to pick the nominee and run the convention. The primaries became everything. The important decisions would be made before a single delegate entered the hall. The hall would be merely a stage. Vidal, who is a distant cousin of Albert Gore, bemoans the power big money now exerts over the selection of the nominees and every aspect of political life.
You can't say they are about anything, the conventions. The decision who's going to be nominated has been made before you get there. It's for a number of well-known politicians who've been bought many, many times to do their act, but not rock the boat.
They have become big-budget movies. Big-budget movies that, if released the way they make them, wouldn't make money at the box office.
He should know. Joe Esterhazy is one of Hollywood's hottest screenwriters. And he's also the best-selling author of a new book about the Clinton years.
If you strip the drama out of politics, you are castrating politics.
Is there any advice you've got for the parties?
Be funnier, be human, be looser. Don't worry about the people out there who have deep pockets. Worry about us who have deep souls.
The suspense is gone.
I proudly accept your nomination.
And the spin doctors and political packagers see to it that the controversy is gone. It leaves us with not much.
And I know enough about screenwriting to know that if you do that kind of show, it ain't going to sell. And I love stink and sweat. And I think this country does. I think we want to see reality, honesty, and candor.
Will the convention come to order?
Coretta.
Up next, one is named Gore.
George P. Bush!
The other is named Bush. Why these 20-somethings could have a lot to say about who becomes president.
Appearances count for more than ever.
Straight ahead.
CBS Health Watch Update, sponsored by Imitrex.
Good evening. There is new hope for the paralyzed. In lab tests, scientists can now convert bone marrow cells into new nerve cells. Acupuncture helps treat cocaine addiction. And life in the slow lane. There's a boom in babies being born in traffic jams. I'm Richard Schlesinger, CBS News.
My head throbs. Every noise hurt. Every light. I was so nauseous. My medicine just dulled the pain.
Today, Imitrex can target your total migraine, the pain and those other symptoms. Imitrex was the first medicine of its kind believed to target the nerves and blood vessels that can trigger your total migraine. In fact, of all prescription migraine medicines, Imitrex is America's most prescribed.
Finally, something that works for me.
Imitrex is not right for everyone or every migraine. If you have certain types of heart or blood vessel disease or uncontrolled blood pressure, you shouldn't take Imitrex. Very rarely, certain people, even some without heart disease, have had serious heart-related problems. So talk to your doctor, especially if you have risk factors for heart disease such as smoking, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, or if you are pregnant, nursing, or taking medications.
If migraines are disrupting your life, tell your doctor and target your total migraine with Imitrex.
More health news at cbshealthwatch.com.
Hey, it doesn't matter how you swipe. Just swipe. It's the Pop the Lock game at JCPenney. Your chance to win $100 worth of the coolest fashions, like Anxious, Mud, Jockey, Nike, Arizona, Skechers, and more. You might even win a new Chrysler PT Cruiser. Check the mail or your favorite magazines for the card and shop, pop, and win only at JCPenney.
Caroline and Ted Kennedy in a rare family interview with Dan Rather tomorrow.
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web. The wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web. Only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
If you're living with chronic pain, you've probably tried everything. You've probably even been told nothing can be done. At St. Thomas Neurosciences Institute, our expertise can help reduce and manage your pain. And wouldn't that be a relief? Pain management at St. Thomas Neurosciences Institute.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Marsalis. Coming up tonight at 10, a major development in the murder of a Sumner County child. Someone has confessed to the horrific crime, but you won't believe who's to blame. And the Democrats took center stage tonight in Los Angeles. We'll have the highlights in a live report from the convention. Plus, the Tennessee Titans got their revenge. We'll have complete coverage of their rematch with the St. Louis Rams. These stories, plus your work week forecast, all coming your way tonight at 10.
Introducing Arby's new Barbecue Bacon Club with thick-cut pepper bacon and bold, mouth-watering sauces. Get to Arby's and satisfy your grown-up tastes.
Steve Irvin takes you live to the floor of the Democratic Convention for an inside look at the upcoming election. This week on News Channel 5.
Much has been made of the impressive legacies of both the Democratic and Republican candidates for president this year, but there's something else in both family arsenals: Generation Excitement. Troy Roberts reports on the two freshest faces of the campaign, and they're not even on the ticket.
This summer, we're witnessing the birth of a new political generation. 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia,
How you all doing today?
it was the Republicans' turn.
It's a new day, es un nuevo día, no?
With his matinee idol good looks, charm, and poise, young George P. Bush is cutting his political teeth on his Uncle George W.'s campaign for president.
Now is the time to end the cynicism and the fussing and fighting in Washington.
The 24-year-old named by People magazine as one of the country's most eligible bachelors
You've modeled before. I know you have.
figures prominently in the Bush campaign strategy. Could you do something?
I would like you to welcome a young man who is a star in my family, and that's my nephew, George P. Bush.
With his mother from Mexico, P, as he's called, has the job of reaching Latinos in swing states.
Oh, you're my Spanish hero.
And attracting young voters.
Hi, I'm Coretta. Nice to meet you.
This week, the Democrats will make the most out of their own rising political star. Al Gore's 26-year-old daughter, Coretta Gore Schiff.
I decided that I wanted to not only be involved behind the scenes and be engaged and interested, but also to come out and speak my mind.
The oldest of the three Gore sisters, she had a storybook wedding. A new mother and law school graduate, she stands in stark contrast to her father's wooden image.
Well, I think at a time when there is no really disruptive, scary enemy out there, appearances count for more than ever.
Talk Magazine editor-in-chief, Tina Brown.
I think that the Bush family and the Gore family are just incredibly happy and grateful to have on their team these brilliant, intelligent, youthful, contemporary spokespeople who can capture a whole new vote.
The truth is, keeping them front and center is simply smart politics. 18 to 36-year-olds are a huge potential voting bloc, 72 million strong. That's bigger than baby boomers. How they'll decide this November will make all the difference in the election. The problem is, they're less inclined to vote.
It is a big challenge because there are good reasons for being turned off to politics.
Coretta, who runs Gore's youth website, and George P. are reaching out to Generation X voters.
As a member of our generation, if there's one major objective of mine, it is to reverse the trend of younger people not hitting the polls.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next President of the United States, not to mention a very fine dad, Al Gore.
Behind closed doors, Coretta has an even greater role in the campaign. As a trusted advisor to her father, counseling him on everything from strategy and this week's acceptance speech to the earth tone color of the vice president's suits. Some campaign workers have quietly questioned her influence.
I think that the role that our family plays is really just being a sounding board for him.
Have you always been conscious that you're part of this political dynasty and that much is expected of you?
I have definitely not grown up feeling self-conscious about the political identity of my family. I just thought of my dad's job as like any other job in some ways. And he would come home from work and he would play with us and he would pack our lunch in the morning and then he would go off to the Capitol.
Governor, could you talk about what it's like to have a son who's now being written about as a babe magnet?
No. Sit down at the dinner table with us. We mostly talk about sports and competitive things. Politics is not our obsession.
George B. Politics may not be an obsession, but it's in the family blood.
I've seen how hard my father works for what he believes in.
And for now, there's no escaping the lure of the family business or the media spotlight.
I think clearly both of them have political futures.
It's been just an incredible rush, right?
They're really just rehearsing their future roles in front of us all now.
Right here in this room, I feel the best of the American spirit, and it's going to be great to carry that through to November and beyond.
Coming up next, someone else who's looking forward to November, Hillary Clinton.
I'll trade you this salad for your pudding. Nope. This newspaper for that comic. I'll trade you mitts. No. I'll trade you my 1998 Gateway PC for a brand new Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Pentium 3 processor plus training.
Deal.
Buy a Gateway Essential PC with the YourWare program and trade it in toward the purchase of a new one after 2 years. Call us or visit one of our 300 stores.
I'll throw in my little sister for a scanner.
Problem?
The doctor says my cholesterol's still too high.
What about diet and exercise?
They didn't do enough.
So?
He suggested adding Lipitor.
Lipitor, the #1 prescribed medication for lowering cholesterol. In clinical studies, Lipitor with diet was proven to lower bad cholesterol 39 to 60%, total cholesterol 29 to 45%, triglycerides 19 to 37%.
He said over 4 million people have started taking Lipitor to lower their cholesterol.
Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease or possible liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant.
There'll be blood tests to check for liver problems.
Tell your doctor about muscle pain or weakness, as these may be signs of serious side effects.
You take Lipitor once a day.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist for more information on Lipitor and call 1-888-LIPITOR.
Well?
Lipitor did it. My cholesterol's way down.
Lipitor, the lower numbers you're looking for.
I just want to look the age I feel inside.
Dove Nutrium Age-Defying Body Wash has a gentle cleanser and a lotion with antioxidants and vitamins for skin that feels young to the touch.
If I were a guy, I'd want to dance with me.
We asked some of the hottest detectives on the street to switch antiperspirant.
Degree Ultra Dry.
Body heat activated.
When your body heat rises, Degree's powerful Ultra Dry form releases extra protection.
When the pressure is on, the heat is on.
Degree kicks butt.
Degree Ultra Dry.
The evidence leads us to believe that it was in fact a homicide.
We solve, we restore peace of mind, and when you're a victim, that's everything.
William Peterson and Mark Helgenberger star in CSI, coming to CBS.
It is Clinton night here at the convention, and Hillary Clinton has just started speaking. We pick her up in progress. She's just started.
I am so proud to stand here at this extraordinary moment, the most peaceful, prosperous, promising time in our nation's history. Now, how can we continue America's progress? By electing Al Gore and Joe Lieberman, the next president and vice president of the United States. You know, even before he was vice president, I admired Al for his leadership in the Senate, his understanding of the future, his pioneering efforts to fight environmental threats that affected our children, his work with Tipper to promote responsible parenting, and what great parents the two of them are. I've watched him as Bill's trusted partner in the White House. Together, they made the hard decisions to renew our nation's economy and our national spirit, to advance democracy and defend freedom around the world. And I can't wait until we watch Al Gore take the oath of office on January 20th, 2001. And standing next to him will be his wonderful wife and my dear friend who inspires us through her work for the homeless and her advocacy on behalf of mental health. Tipper Gore will make a great First Lady. And the country has seen again Al Gore's leadership in his choice of Joe Lieberman. I first met Joe 30 years ago when Bill and I were law students. We saw then what America sees now, a person of uncommon wisdom and integrity. I admire Joe's work to reduce the violence in our media, and I appreciate his steadfast support for a woman's right to choose. And with him is his remarkable wife, Hadassah, the immigrant daughter of Holocaust survivors. Their story tells our children that in America, no dream is beyond our reach. You know, in 1992, Bill and Al promised to put people first. That simply meant that when people live up to their responsibilities, we ought to live up to ours and give them the tools and opportunities they need to build better lives. That's the basic bargain at the heart of the American dream. From a stronger economy to more Americans attending college to a cleaner environment, Bill Clinton and Al Gore have put people first, and not only that, they put children first as well. More children lifted out of poverty. More children receiving Head Start, child care, and after-school care. More children than ever getting immunized against disease. More children whose parents can take family and medical leave to care for them. And more neglected and abused foster children being adopted into loving, permanent homes. Children like Diana, who came to a White House ceremony I held spotlighting the needs of children in foster care. Just 12 years old, not much younger than Chelsea at the time, she spent most of her life moving from house to house. She was so shy she could barely look up as she spoke of her longing for a home and family of her own. As I listened, I thought, how can we let any child grow up in our country without a secure and loving home? I worked with a bipartisan coalition to help double the number of foster children adopted. And when the president signed the new adoption law, I thought of the first foster child I represented back when I was in law school. I thought of what my own mother went through in her life as a child, born to teenage parents who couldn't take care of her. And when she was 8, she and her little sister were sent alone on a train across the country to stay with relatives. At 14, she went to work caring for a family's children. And fortunately, her employer was a kind woman who saw her true worth and showed her what a loving family was really like. And I thought of Diana, whom I have seen blossom into a beaming, confident young woman because caring parents opened their hearts and home to her. She finally had what every child needs, a family that puts her first. And for me, that's what it's all about. Years ago, when I worked for the Children's Defense Fund, we had a trademark: leave no child behind. And we've made great progress in the last 8 years. But we still have a lot of work to do. Because when a child can't go to school without fearing guns and violence, that's a child left behind. When a child's illness is not treated because a hardworking parent can't afford health insurance, that's a child left behind. And when a child struggles to learn in an overcrowded classroom, that's a child left behind. Don't let anyone tell you this election doesn't matter. The stakes in November are biggest for the littlest among us. What will it take to make sure no child in America is left behind in the 21st century? It takes responsible parents who put their own children first. It takes all of us, teachers and workers and business owners and community leaders and people of faith. And you know, I still believe it takes a village, and it certainly takes Al Gore and Joe Lieberman. They have what it takes, and they'll do what it takes. You know, over the last 8 years, I've talked with mothers and fathers on front porches and factory floors and in hospital wards, and I've seen firsthand the joys and anxieties that parents feel when it comes to our children. I remember a teacher with tears in her eyes because she had the only textbook in the classroom. It's time to give all our students the chance to succeed in the new economy by modernizing our schools, setting high standards, and hiring more qualified teachers. I've held the hands of mothers and fathers who've lost their children to gun violence. It's time to honor their pain by passing common sense gun safety laws that keep guns out of the hands of children and criminals. I've listened to parents distressed about a culture that too often glorifies violence. Why can't all of us, including the media, give parents more control over what their children see on TV, in the movies, on the internet, and in video games? I've met mothers and fathers who are working full-time in fast food restaurants and supermarket checkout lines and other tough jobs, but they're still poor. It's time to make the basic bargain work for all Americans by raising the minimum wage, enforcing tough child support laws, and guaranteeing equal pay for equal work. And everywhere I go, I've heard from doctors and nurses who every day see children with illnesses that could have been treated earlier if their parents had been able to afford health insurance. Now, you may remember, I had a few ideas about health care, and I've learned a few lessons since then, but I haven't given up on the goal, and that's why we kept working step by step to ensure millions of children through the Children's Health Insurance Program. And that's why it's time to pass a real Patients' Bill of Rights and provide access to affordable health care to every child and family in this country. But we'll never accomplish what we need to do for our children if we burden them with a debt they did not create. Franklin Roosevelt said that Americans of his generation had a rendezvous with destiny. Well, I think our generation has a rendezvous with responsibility. It's time to protect the next generation by using our budget surplus to pay down the national debt, save Social Security, modernize Medicare with a prescription drug benefit, and provide targeted tax cuts to the families that need them most. At this moment of great potential, let's not squander our children's futures. Let's elect leaders who will leave no child behind. Leaders who don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. Leaders like Al Gore and Joe Lieberman. You know, the other day, Bill and I were looking at pictures of our daughter from 8 years ago when this journey began. It's been an amazing 8 years for Chelsea, too, and we want to thank the American people for giving her the space to grow. Bill and I are closing one chapter of our lives, and soon we'll be starting a new one. For me, it will be up to the people of New York to decide whether I'll have the privilege of serving them in the United States Senate. But I will always be profoundly grateful to all of you and to the American people for the last 8 years. Really, the most important thing that I can say tonight is thank you. Thank you for giving me the most extraordinary opportunity to work here at home and around the world on the issues that matter most to children, women, and families. Thank you for your support and faith in good times and in bad. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the honor and blessing of a lifetime. Good night, and God bless you all. Thank you very, very much.
The First Lady of the United States, Hillary Clinton, finishing her address about 20-25 minutes behind the schedule. She emphasized in several different ways that, as she put it, this election is important. Also tried to emphasize that there are differences between the Democrats and Republicans and between the Democratic candidates and the Republican ticket. Among other things, said it's time to pass a Patients' Bill of Rights, to use the budget surplus to pay down the debt, inferentially not to cut taxes. And she seemed especially eager to underscore, as she put it, we're a stronger, better country than we were in 1992. Bob Schieffer on the podium. What's your take on Hillary's speech and this interesting bit of timing? Because now the president's speech is going to run much later in the evening than we had been told it would.
Well, my take on the speech, Dan, is that she made the obligatory endorsement of Gore and Lieberman, but basically this was, I think, a stump speech of somebody who's running for the United States Senate in New York, and for one reason or another, she gets to do it in prime time when the networks are on the air. Perhaps that would have happened had she not been the president's wife, but in any case, she is the president's wife, and she did get a prime spot on this convention floor. She did take one little jab at George Bush. You know, he often talks about leaving no child behind. She says that basically she thought of it first. She says when she worked at the Children's Defense Fund, that was their trademark, leave no child behind. But basically, I think this was a speech, Dan, about Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign.
Ed Bradley's on the floor in a darkened hall, but we go to him for some reaction. Ed?
Well, Dan, this was a very well-received speech on the floor. The delegates clearly loved her. I was struck by her mood at the beginning of the speech, in contrast to both Laura Bush and Colin Powell at the Republican convention, where they tried to quiet the delegates so that they could get on with the speech and get off before that 11 o'clock hour. She clearly enjoyed that moment and savored it and lived with it. And as Bob said, she touched all of the bases that she needs to in running for her campaign for the New York Senate. She talked about those things that have been important to her about child care and children and education. And the thing that I remember is she said to us this morning, Dan, that there are people out there who really don't like them, who don't like her. None of those people are in this hall. They really liked her and liked that speech.
Ed Bradley on the floor. Gloria Borges with us here in the booth. Gloria, your take on this speech?
Well, I think it was a gracious speech in many ways, in which she thanked the American public for supporting her in good times
and in bad. But I also agree with Bob Schieffer, who said that this is clearly a campaign speech. This was not a woman who was planning to leave the public stage anytime soon. She reminded us that she had had a health care plan and that, as she said, she hadn't given up on health care. She reminded us of her own work on behalf of children, and those are two issues that she is continuing to talk about in her New York Senate race. So while she did say goodbye as First Lady, it was very clear she was also trying to talk to us as a Senate candidate.
Gloria Borgia. In a moment, President Clinton addresses this convention for the last time as leader of the Democratic Party, so stay here with us.
A 10-year-old Sumner County girl is the victim of a gruesome murder, and who's to blame is just as disturbing. We'll have the very latest coming up at 10.
Is your asthma really under control?
Yeah, but sometimes I wheeze.
Ever wake up short of breath?
I do.
Use your fast-acting inhaler more than twice a week.
I use mine every day.
If that's what you call control, ask your doctor if prescription Flovent is right for you. Flovent twice a day helps control the inflammation that can cause asthma symptoms in the first place and helps improve lung function. Flovent won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden attacks. People switching from an oral steroid like prednisone to Flovent, an inhaled steroid, need to be especially careful. While adjusting to the switch, your body is not as able to heal after surgery, infection, or serious injury. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve.
Now this is control.
Flovent, helping you define asthma control.
Everybody knows it's smarter to buy in bulk, even long distance.
Thank you.
Now you can get 1,000 minutes of nighttime calling for just $20.
That's a big block of talk.
And you won't have to strap it to your minivan. Switch to Sprint at 1-800-PEN-DROP. Call now and get free internet call waiting. And never miss another call when you're online.
As much as you have to run around these days, you need tires guaranteed to keep up. See the pros at Sears Auto Center today and get all Michelin tires on sale right now. Quick expert service, great deals on Michelin tires. Get rolling to Sears.
When water attacks, it can transform your beautiful deck into a danger zone. Boards warp and crack, weakening your deck. But Thompson's gives you the highest level of water protection available to protect your deck like no other. Thompson's. It never takes a day off, guaranteed.
Same comfort and security, but with a wild new look. Kotex in bright new packages. Purple for tampons, yellow for liners. Just check the corner for the exact one you're using now. Kotex.
Staples presents the Staples Coach of the Week program. It's our salute to leaders on the field and in the classroom. And it's your chance to win $5,000 in school supplies for your school, plus a visit from your local NFL head coach. To enter, visit a Staples near you. Register at www.staples.com/NFL or send your entry to Staples Coach of the Week. Watch NFL Today Sundays on CBS for winners.
At least a mildly interesting development here at the Democratic National Convention on its first night. Hillary Clinton, for whatever reason, slipped on the schedule, which ensured that she gets prime time coverage across the board. Now, President Clinton will be appearing shortly. What's happening in the hall now, they're showing one of these, one can only call it propaganda films, the history of Bill Clinton is told to Hans Christian Andersen, that sort of spin sort of film. Now, when that ends, there will be the entrance of President Clinton into this hall. And what President Clinton is going to try to do, he will paint a drastically different picture of the last 8 years than the one that was painted by George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, the Republican ticket in Philadelphia. What he will attempt to do is get people to remember the accomplishments of the Clinton-Gore team as he sees them over the last years. Gloria Borgia is here in the anchor booth with me. Gloria, this puts the president now in a position to command much more time on opening night then the Republicans got.
Yeah, I think it does, and I think they're probably well aware of that. I think they want the president to make the case for Al Gore that when they started in office 8 years ago, things weren't terrific. And I think what the president is going to do, Dan, is he's going to remind voters where we were 8 years ago. He's going to take us through those 8 years and say, okay, folks, George Bush says we squandered those 8 years. He's going to say, I don't think we did. In fact, we made a lot of progress. And who better to say that than Bill Clinton?
Indeed. And Gloria, I think you'll agree, if you don't by all means say so, it'd be hard to remember any political candidate who believed stronger than Bill Clinton over the years that in the end, when it gets right down to voting, people vote their pocketbooks. Keep in mind that he took the presidency in 1992, basically saying, it's the economy, stupid, and staying on message the whole time. I'd be surprised if he doesn't do that here tonight.
Right, and the problem that Al Gore has had, quite frankly, is that he has not been getting credit for the prosperity in this country, and I think that is also the case that Bill Clinton is going to make tonight, to say that this administration does deserve some of the credit for the prosperity, and that you should pay attention to Al Gore for that very reason.
Gloria Borgia. Well, here in the anchor booth, we've put up now Time to Shut Up. The next moment will be the entry of a two-term President of the United States, Bill Clinton, into this hall. Let's watch and listen and get the moment. The film ends. The crowd's on its feet. Backstage, with his familiar by this time lope. Alone. The President of the United States walking to the podium knowing that what he says over the next half hour or longer time may very well decide whether Al Gore is the next President of the United States or not.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
The chant is thank you.
Isn't it great to be here in California together? 40 years ago, the great city of Los Angeles launched John Kennedy and the New Frontier. Now Los Angeles is launching the first president of the new century, Al Gore. I come here tonight, above all, to say a heartfelt thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to serve. Thank you for being so good to Hillary and Chelsea. I am so proud of them. And didn't she give a good talk? I thought it was great. I thank you for supporting the new Democratic agenda that has taken our country to new heights of prosperity, peace, and progress. As always, of course, the lion's share of the credit goes to the American people who do the work, raise the kids, and dream the dreams. Now, at this moment of unprecedented good fortune, our people face a fundamental choice. Are we going to keep this progress and prosperity going? Yes, we are. But, my friends, we can't take our future for granted. We cannot take it for granted. So, let's just remember how we got here. 8 years ago, when our party met in New York, it was in a far different time for America. Our economy was in trouble, our society was divided, our political system was paralyzed. 10 million of our fellow citizens were out of work, interest rates were high, the deficit was $290 billion and rising. After 12 years of Republican rule, the federal debt had quadrupled, imposing a crushing burden on our economy and on our children. Welfare rolls, crime, teen pregnancy, income inequality, all had been skyrocketing. And our government was part of the problem, not part of the solution. I saw all this in a very personal way in 1992, out there in the real America with many of you. I remember a child telling me her father broke down at the dinner table because he lost his job. I remember an older couple crying in front of me because they had to choose between filling their shopping carts and filling their prescriptions. I remember a hard-working immigrant in a hotel kitchen who said his son was not really free because he wasn't safe for him to play in the neighborhood park. I ran for president to change the future for those people. And I ask you to embrace new ideas, rooted in enduring values, opportunity for all, responsibility from all, and a community of all Americans. You gave me the chance to turn those ideas and values into action after I made one of the very best decisions of my entire life, asking Al Gore to be my partner. Now, first, we proposed a new economic strategy. Get rid of the deficit to reduce interest rates, invest more in our people, sell more American products abroad. We sent our plan to Congress. It passed by a single vote in both houses. In a deadlocked Senate, Al Gore cast the tie-breaking vote. Now, not a single Republican supported it. Here's what their leaders said. Their leaders said our plan would increase the deficit, kill jobs, and give us a one-way ticket to a recession. Time has not been kind to their predictions. You remember, our Republican friends said then they would absolutely not be held responsible for our economic policies. I hope the American people take them at their word. Now, today, after 7.5 years of hard effort, we're in the midst of the longest economic expansion in history. More than 22 million new jobs, the lowest unemployment in 30 years, the lowest female unemployment in 40 years, the lowest Hispanic and African American unemployment rate ever recorded, and the highest home ownership in history. Now, along the way, in 1995, we turned back the largest cuts in history in Medicare, Medicaid, education, and the environment. And just 2 years later, we proved that we could find a way to balance the budget and protect our values. Today, we have gone from the largest deficits in history to the largest surpluses in history.